Working while black is simply the phenomenon of walking through the door.
When I landed in Canada is when I found out that I was black. Then I realized that something was wrong with this picture.
So growing up, I was always aware of racism to the point that our public school system in Nova Scotia makes you know that you're a person of African descent.
We come here with a dream. How do we end up in jail?
That means that justice is blind. It's blind to race.
Well, I'd say that racism is an ism. You know, from that point of view, I mean, it's a sociological thing. It's a thing that exists in society.
But over the years, as time went on, I just noticed that there was no progression in my career with the Ontario Public Service.
Well, I tried different departments at work, but it never went anywhere. So I just really turned to the support of like friends and family.
We're human, and I think that's the one thing people forget working while black. How much it costs for us to get to work.
Not show up as ourselves, I think affects your desire to stay in the organization over time.
Every single black person must be an entrepreneur.
Being a businesswoman definitely comes from race, because when I worked in corporate Canada, the environment was not very welcoming.
Jerimani ulukela upeta misibiti ne yetswa ke ngwana bo mfuta ba.
Ba re fetsa borka thabang. Ba ba ka ba ra tseba e etsahetse ka potlako. We have to fix this mabatu.
Ke thamile mama. Ke mo diposo. Ke shebile ene ke ntse ke bala hore ho etsalang yo bona. It's really dipilisi.
re ne re sa tsebe hore Thabang o na le wili tje ka lapa re tshwanetse hore re share mafa a Thabang.
Aha.
Che Anna ha una mokoti mon ke makoti hai
Hawu. Kanti nomndeni.
yebo
no mamazala wami.
Phuma nje kungani ningahlali phansi ngabantu besifazane iqasule lenkinga.
Ke re ntlo e ke a mang ka bana se hao.
Ntlo ya mang?
Yes.
No bontsha hantle fela ho ntlo ya mang. Ka tseba today what ntlo ya mang ke sa ene.
Mabatho se o se tsang se very wrong. Se wrong se o se tsang mabatho. O tlo kula le kula. And o tlo tsama o pepereza o ra o lawyer mo.
Dumela.
Dumela tata.
One every 100 seconds. Should I say something about how I didn't ask for this?
The difference is people who are not living with HIV, they've got nothing to fear. No second thoughts about death.
How did I get here? One step forward, 10 steps back. Is it okay for a man not to be okay?
You want to marry off my only child because you have failed to provide for her as a father.
She's of age, and she might as well be of good help to this family.
I went away from home thinking I was solving the problem.
And just like that, welcome everybody. It is 4 minutes past 8 o'clock on a Thursday evening in South Africa, at least. And this is our, what is it? We're basically getting to meet the filmmakers that will be showing their films at the Rustenburg Film Festival. This year is our 9th installation of the Rustenburg Film Festival. It means next year we are 10 years old. which is awesome. Before we go any further, my name is Yvonne Ntomi, aka Sarabi. I am the senior program coordinator of the Rustenburg Film Festival. I'm just gonna basically open this up so that we all tell people about ourselves. I'm just gonna start off quickly with, let me think. We have 4 filmmakers here that I am seeing. If I don't see you, then you're not here. Let me see. Invasion. Yes, we have a film called Invasion. I want Arshia. Arshia, please tell us about yourself and give us a quick brief about Invasion, like a small synopsis, because I believe that it comes better when it comes from, its director or its producer. Unlike if I'm just gonna read about it, I want you to tell us about Invasion.
Hello?
Aisha Zeinali. Please tell me if I'm saying it right. Aisha Zeinali.
Arshia Zeinali.
How do you say it?
Arshia Zeinali.
Zeinali.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do
hello,
you say good? How do you say good evening in Iranian?
Asr Bekhair.
What? Slowly.
Asr Bekhair.
Asr Bekhair.
Right now in Iran it's 22 and 10 p.m. We say Shab Bekhair, good night.
Shab Bekhair. Thank you.
Okay. Hello everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm so happy you having me this year. I'm first of all, I'm sorry because my English speaking is not perfect. I just try to speak better and better every year and learn more and more. I know a little bit Germany, little bit Turkish, little bit English, but I try to speak clearly. About my short film Invasion, I just say a synopsis of my short film about 2 grave diggers want to secretly bury a girl who rumored to turn into a wolf at night in an enchanted forest. But this beginning of the story, and they are surprised by a strange fortune-telling woman in the middle of the forest. It's mystery short film. I can tell about that, and it's 11 minutes, and it's my 14th short film I made, amateur and professional.
Oh, nice. That's nice. So Asha, okay, so I'm a bit, but before I'm gonna ask you any questions, would you just quickly just tell us about yourself as a filmmaker, your journey as a filmmaker? Just give us a brief description about you as a filmmaker and your journey.
Yes. 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, I start with theater, acting in theater, and I study in university directing theater, and for 10 years I played, write, and directed in theater. After then, until 2015, I started making short film. Besides that, I played in short films, my friends' short films, and act in theater. And until now, I made 14 short films.
Okay,
One of
nice.
them is documentary film and experimental I have and fiction. You know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. I should just, but just my very quick one. How did how did you know about the Rustenburg Film Festival for you to eventually submit your film to our portal? How did you know about it? Where did you see it? Where did you hear about it?
I have a friend. 4 years ago, I made a short film. That name is in Perspective, a thriller. 11-minute thriller. That film won in festival best short film. And one of my friend, his name is Adrina. He told about this festival.
Oh, nice.
He programmer of Queensland Film Festival in New York.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much. Just everybody who is watching there. Invasion delves into a dark corners of the human psyche. As a paranoia and fear take hold of community under an unseen threat. The film challenges the audience to question what is real and what is imagined in the world, where trust is the first casualty. So if you make your way to the Rustenburg Film Festival this year, you will have to see this short film on one of our screenings for free. So do that right there. Thank you so much, Arshia. Let me see. The next person that is going to feed us with who are you? Tell us a little bit about your film and how did you know about us? See me, Charlene Mangweni. Is Charlene here?
Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Charlene Mangweni-Furusa. Baby.
Yes. Ndiri say. And I'm guessing that's where it ends.
No, I can say Mamokase.
Oh.
I can say Wamokase.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
so I will think about it later.
Oh, okay. So let's say it's a date at the festival.
You will see me. You will see me.
Yes.
Literally see me, like your film.
There we go.
Okay, Charlene, please just quickly give us a brief synopsis about See Me. And then, yeah.
All right. So See Me is a film. It's 60 minutes. It's a film that is based on the struggles that young people living with HIV went through during the COVID-19 induced lockdowns. And I know it was different for every country, but that was a particular time in the entire world where we all faced these different restrictions. But young people living with HIV faced a different set of hurdles. So that's what See Me is about. It is literally about us going into their lives, a deep dive into the struggles that they went through to get medication, the different themes that come up within this film. We actually got from research which was carried out over a period of about 2 years or so, where we spoke to these different people, these young people living in Zimbabwe, found out what they went through during the COVID-19 induced lockdowns. And instead of taking these boring numbers that usually people would not listen to, we then decided to put it into a film, something that would be exciting for people to understand and go into. So we used the art form of storytelling, cinematography, spoken word, music, and dance and photography. So using these different art forms, we made sure that we were then able to tell these young people's stories. So for us, it was a moment, it was a surreal moment because we weren't pulling these stories out of thin air. These are real life stories of young people in our country. And how I heard about Rustenburg Film Festival, we have a couple of friends in the film industry here. And they told us about how amazing your festival is. So, of course, like a proper 30-something-year-old, I stalked you on socials. And yeah, I'm so excited to be a part of the festival.
Don't say anything about us 30-something-year-olds in front of people.
Well,
yeah, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Charlene. You kept it very brief. I'm so grateful for that. Moving right along. Working while black. I'm already imagining there's so much racism on it. I'm already imagining there's a part where you have to double prove yourself to your counterpart that you do the same work, and you have to just double prove yourself that you are worth the work. But I will let the filmmaker tell us about working while black. Before I do that, as Sifiso, I just want everybody to make sure that they come to the Rustenburg Film Festival to come see me of a profound exploration of identity, visibility, and human experience. The film captures and nuanced stories of those often overlooked, challenging social norms and encouraging empathy in the viewer. Thank you so much again, my darling Charlene. Sifiso, Nkosinathi, Nobela.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I think this is a good time to meet audience as well as filmmakers in this space. And working while black, where do I start? I think this film has a lot of connection between me being a South African, having to live in a foreign country, trying to navigate how it feels to be in a foreign country where being a foreigner, it's something of a foreign to me. I've grown in South Africa. Having to be in a foreign country to me was completely something new. I visited, but living there, it was also something new. But this story alone, I think it's one of the story that maybe it's been told many times, but it's never been told from the perspective of the workers, like the people who are really working, who are becoming victims. Is always told from someone who's seeing the victim and tell their story. But with Working While Black, what we were looking for the actual workers who left workplace and ventured into being self-employed. And when we dig deeper in the story, we discover that this racism is something that can be, I would say, ignored as something maybe mental issue rather than being an issue that needs to be addressed. So with this documentary, what we're trying to do was to say, look, yes, we understand that this could be a mental issue, but then how can all these people have a mental issue? Why does it have to be this specific group of people who have mental issues when they raise their concern about this particular thing? So this is one, I would say, story that we worked on it for 2 years in research and in development, and we shot it across Canada. So we did almost all the provinces of Canada. And the amazing thing about it is we work with only Black people in this film. And I worked with different crew for every different city I was shooting at as a producer. So it was one of the most challenging work to achieve, being in a foreign country, having to tell the story about racism. And I have to say, people need to see this film and get to hear what really we had more than 18 guests that we interviewed. We were not able to put all of them, and the footage is still there. There's pretty much a lot of stories that we can tell. We just took pieces that we needed to get together. And the initial arrangement of the film was 60 minutes, but we couldn't make it 60 minutes because we realized that there's a lot that can be told. So we ended up adding in a little bit of 30 minutes into the story. Who I am, maybe I'm a filmmaker, born in South Africa, did my film studies in India. I've produced short films, feature film. I have feature films in Amazon, UK, USA, and Canada. I also know the Rustenburg Film Festival through a connection. I use Film Freeway, so I checked it. And then I also know some of the people involved behind the scene, but not conflict of interest. Is it conflict of interest? It's not like there are people that I know who take decision on certain things, but I know about Mr. B. So I work with him maybe a couple of times. So really, I'm so excited to be part of this festival, and I can't wait to meet you guys there from the 25th up until the end of it. And I'm going to be there. So those who are coming, please, let's have more. There's a lot of stories that needs to be told. The good thing is we are funded by NFVF to attend the festival, so it's even better. So we're gonna have enough time to share some of the experience and work that we have done throughout the film. I can speak all night, but I would like to leave it here. Thank you.
At least I'm not the only one, you see, who can speak all night. Thank you so much, Sifiso. So where do you live?
I'm actually in Mpumalanga right now. I'm a Canadian resident, but I'm in South Africa. I'm a South African and a Canadian resident, but I'm in South Africa now, currently in Mpumalanga. Yes, yeah.
Sifelani. Hey, Chance, how are you?
Yeah.
Hi, Chance.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm great.
Hi,
I'm
this
phenomenal.
is Chance. She's one of our moderators. So she's basically babysitting me. So don't be surprised if you see her there. She's making sure I do my job.
Yeah.
So if I do anything wrong, she scolds me. Yeah. That time she's younger than me, things. Anyway, guys, we're gonna go on break at about 8:30. However, I think we have a bit of 7 minutes let's just quickly, before we move to Thabo Mokone. It sounds like a Rustenburg name, that one. Comrade. Before we move to Thabo Mokone, I just want to give the viewers a quick synopsis about Working While Black. As a documentary that sheds light on our persistent issues of anti-Black racism in workplaces through powerful interviews. The film reveals challenges faced by people of African descent in various industries, offering a poignant commentary on systematic inequalities. So please do come through to the Rustenburg Film Festival, the 9th installation of the Rustenburg Film Festival this year. Guys, we're turning 10 next year. Please, must come. Please, you must say, we were there before you were 10. You see, people must come. You must tell your friends. So please do come through. And then watch this documentary. It will relate to most of us and most of our family members. Going right at it, Mathata akasi. As a kasi girl, I'm very curious. I'm curious, Mokone. Can you please elaborate just a little bit about Mathata akasi, a small thing about yourself, and where did you hear about Rustenburg Film Festival?
No, Kelebu. Good evening, everybody. Name is Thabo Mokone. Maybe I should start with myself. Thabo Mokone is from the Val. I'm a broadcaster and an actor and a producer. Currently, I trade as an afternoon drive presenter for Listen DFM. I developed love for filmmaking back in the years. Started as an actor for a few Ekasi stories, I think around 2008, 7 and 8, 9. And as we were busy filming, one fell in love with the behind the scene, how films are made, the crew and scripts and everything. And that inspired me to go for a course. When I went to the lab, did a course there, and came back, sat with a friend of mine, Charles Hoele. Charles Hoele has been on TV for quite some time as a script supervisor, director, worked on few big projects from your Izos to your Zone 14s, to your Mujajis now and the Mubango. So we sat down as friends, and I was so fascinated with him doing the work, and I said to him, but we need to be telling our stories. There are so many local stories that are distorted. And he said, yes, the reason why our stories, local stories, are distorted because we don't tell them. And we sat and looked at this phenomenon of why in most families when the husband dies, the first suspect becomes the wife. Then Mathata Kasi developed there. That's when we sat and we started a research with Charles. I think it took us a year to research on what causes wives to be first suspects when the husband dies. And we came back, we sat down, we started with documents and treatments and all. That's how we told the story of a young couple, a beautiful couple with 2 children. Then unfortunately the husband dies. The very same day when the family comes back from burying the husband, the in-laws call a short meeting to sit down with the Makoti to start questioning issue of the estate.
Don't spoil.
And-
Don't spoil. Don't
Okay.
spoil.
All right.
Don't spoil
Right,
it.
so-
Don't spoil it.
Sorry.
Otherwise, they're not gonna come watch it.
Oh yeah. So that's how
Yeah.
we developed this wonderful story called Mathata Akasi. And yeah, we just went out there, tried to get the A-listers of South African actors to come and help us because we are self-funded, myself and my producer Charles. So they came on board, they said, guys, let's work, and we worked. Here we are today.
Awesome. Mr. Mokone, sir. That
Yes,
still
ma'am.
sounds very Rustenburg, bruh. That still sounds very Rustenburg.
and it's valiant.
But Tobacco Valley, Tobacco Northwest. Val people are Northwest people. Okay, quick one. Thank you so much for all of that. Before we get to Bax Obakeng Mafokwani. Yes, I said it right. Viewers are there, please, quick, before we go to Obakeng. Mathata Akasi tells a harrowing story of a widow, Mabatu, whose life is turned upside down after her husband's mysterious death, battling her in-laws over her husband's estate. She faces accusations, betrayal, and fight for justice, all while her sanity hangs up in thread. Please come see this film at the Rustenburg Film Festival for free during the film festival. Also, it's a very typical Gaza story. I want to see it. I want to see it. All right, gang. Right on it. Before we go on a short break and before we get a chance for the next session as well. All right, gang, please. You've had the questions. A little bit about your film, small thing about yourself, and where did you hear about us?
Okay, let me start by my background first.
All right, gang.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but I'm not thinking that your network is very nice. Maybe let's go to the break now, and then you fix your signal, and then we just continue with you before Chance takes over for the next session. I hope that is okay. I hope Mr. B is listening. So we're gonna take a short break where we're gonna play a little bit of a clip about basically RFF and its beautiful films and what you can expect. Please, guys, don't forget, when you are sitting on your computer, share this broadcast with your friends so that they can know about your films, they can know about you, they can know about the festival. This is the Rastamic Film Festival, where we connect, develop, and promote. And we are going on a small break, and Chance will take us just a little bit after that. Thank you.
Working while black is simply the phenomenon of walking through the door.
When I landed in Canada is when I found out that I was black. Then I realized that something was wrong with this picture.
So growing up, I was always aware of racism to the point that our public school system in Nova Scotia makes you know that you're a person of African descent.
We come here with a dream. How do we end up in jail?
That means that justice is blind. It's blind to race.
Well, I'd say that racism is an ism. You know, from that point of view, I mean, it's a sociological thing. It's a thing that exists in society.
But over the years, as time went on, I just noticed that there was no progression in my career with the Ontario Public Service.
Well, I tried different departments at work, but it never went anywhere. So I just really turned to the support of like friends and family.
We're human, and I think that's the one thing people forget working while black. How much it costs for us to get to work.
Not show up as ourselves, I think affects your desire to stay in the organization over time.
Every single black person must be an entrepreneur.
Being a businesswoman definitely comes from race, because when I worked in corporate Canada, the environment was not very welcoming.
When employers truly invest, integrate, and implement anti-racism and equity principles within all of their structures, within their organizations and workplaces, what they will get is innovation, they will get excellence, they will get productivity, they will get contributions and areas of development and beauty within all of their spaces that they will not and possibly are not being able to attain and see at this current point in time.
One every 100 seconds. Should I say something about how I didn't ask for this?
The difference is people who are not living with HIV, they've got nothing to fear. No second thoughts about death.
How did I get here? One step forward, 10 steps back. Is it okay for a man not to be okay?
You want to marry off my only child because you have failed to provide for her as a father.
She's of age, and she might as well be of good help to this family.
I went away from home thinking I was solving the problem.
Jerimane o lokela ho phetha mesebetsi e meng e etswang ke ngwanabo mofuta ba.
Re ke tsebore ka Thabang. Bana ba ka ba ra tseba e etsahetse ka potlako. We have to fix this mapa too.
Ke thamile mama. Ke mo diposong. Ke shebile ene ke ntse ke bala hore ho etsalang yo bona. Itshwere dipilisi.
Re ne re sa tsebe hore Thabang o na le wili. Je ka lapa re tshwanetse hore re share mafa a Thabang.
Aha.
Che Anna ha una mokoti mona. Ke makoti. Hai.
Hawu. Kanti nomndeni.
Yebo. Lo mama zala wami.
Manje ungani ningahlali phansi ngabantu besifazane ixazulwe lenkinga.
Ke ntlo e ke a mang ka bana se hao.
Ntlo ya mang?
Yes.
Ka bontsha hantle fela ho ntlo ya mang. Ka tseba today ho ntlo ya mang ke sa ene. Mabatho se o se tsang se very wrong. Se wrong se o se tsang mabatho. O tlo kula le kula. And o tlo tsama o peperezo o ra o lawyer mo.
Dumela.
Dumela tata.
Hey everyone. So we are back and we're just gonna continue with where we left off the conversation, right? So if you guys didn't know, my name is Chance Nobela and I'm a journalist and a film critic. So I'm just gonna be throwing in questions about your films that we're gonna be showcasing at the Rustenburg Film Festival, right? So right. So okay, I want to start with Mr. Mokone, right? So as a storyteller, how do you ensure that you tell a story that is gonna be relatable to the audience 10 or 20 years from now?
Hi, Susan Tombel. I think the most important thing that we did that would make our work last long and still be relevant, it's the research, because telling a story that you have researched, that tells you that the story that you are telling, it's not a new story as in now when you're telling it. These things have been happening years ago, and if you still find them now as relevant, it means they would still be relevant even in few years to come.
Right. That is awesome. Mr. Obakeng, can you please, because you were not able to tell us briefly about your film before we went on a break, can you please tell us briefly about your film and how did you find out about the Rustenburg Film Festival?
Okay, let me start by explaining the synopsis about the film. Can you all hear me clear? I hope so.
Yes.
Okay. The film name is called Kavakazi. It tells a story about women from different walks of life who unite, celebrate their unique stories, and strengthen discovering the true beauty lies embracing the imperfection and scars in reflection. Film shines the light at the power of self-acceptance, meaning that like this film talks about women, like women, they need to love themselves and accept how they look, if you get what I mean. Like for example, you can be fat, you can have stretch marks, or you can have pimples, or you can have like a bad skin and so on. So this film like tells a story where like as a woman, doesn't matter how you look, whether you're skinny, you're fat, you have a dark skin, you have pimples, if whatever, or maybe you gave birth and you have stretch marks on your belly fat, like you have to love yourself, like how you look, which this is body positivity.
Oh, nice.
And yes, ma'am. And let me explain about the background, my background of filmmaking. Like it all started where like I was obsessed about behind the scenes and so on, like how the movie was made, like watching a lot of videos until as a kid, like I gathered all the friends and so on. Like we started like drawing what you call cameras in the cat box and stuff like that. And we pretended like to shoot a movie, like action, like someone was a director, others were actors and so on. Like we're doing this like almost every day. But I didn't know how, like this thing was my passion for filmmaking until as time goes, like I think technology. Let me talk about cell phones. Like cell phone introduced like camera phones when I said. I think the first camera phone was like the Motorola with the VGA camera and so on. So I was asking myself, like, wow, this can take pictures. From there, like, I became obsessed with like taking pictures and videos. Like, so the love for filmmaking and cinematography like grow like big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Oh, that
that's
is
all
awesome.
on
That
my
is
side.
great.
Thank you.
That is great. That is
And
great.
how did I hear
So,
about the film festival? Yeah.
yes, I was gonna ask you that. How did you find out about it? The Rustenburg Film
Um,
Festival.
One of my business partners, like the person who shoot movies together, like sent me the link, was like, apply for this film festival and so on. Like just fill in all the details and so on. So I did that. Like that's how I found out about the Joburg. I mean, not Joburg Film Festival, the Rustenburg Film Festival. I went all the social media, started following the social media, and funny enough, like there's people I recognize as well, which I find inspiration from them as well. Yeah.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Right. So
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna come to you. I'm gonna come to you, Mr. Nobela, right? So I want to find out what was the most exciting part about creating this project.
Yes, thank you. I think one of the most exciting part about creating this project was getting to know the secret behind a country that is known to be the best country in the world. To get to know the part that we didn't know existed, and we will only hear people talking about it, but getting to meet different people from all walks of life, and black people telling their story and still continue living in that environment, but not taking the situation that brought them there to be the one that define who they are, but they do more on their own individually. So because when you look at it, if you move to a foreign country and you start working and then racism hit you, the first thing that will happen, you might think of going back home, you might think of doing something that's going to have quick cash. But these people, when they discovered that the workplace was no longer a safe space for them, they ventured into their own businesses. And within their own businesses, they are more successful on their own space. Um, than the businesses that they've been working for or the organization they've been working for. And the most interesting thing about this documentary was funded by the government of Canada. So you can tell that there's so much that goes into this story, and if I were to go back and do something different on this film again, the thing that I would like to learn more about it is, why is there anything not done about it? Because it's there, it exists. But if you look at the interviews that we did, you can tell that, it's not something that started yesterday. It's not something that when we started doing the research and we find uh, tons and tons of people who are experiencing this thing, and we're like, how is this even possible? But then we realize that, as a filmmaker, as a producer, you also come across these challenges, because then you need to secure your locations, you need to make sure that you get your permission to do certain things. It's completely different from South Africa, I can tell you right now. If you want to shoot in a foreign country, especially like Canada, the regulations is completely different. Each and every province has its own set of rules. For you to shoot in that particular, you need to get a specific insurance for that location, for that province. So there's just too many things. But the good thing about it, I was able to navigate in all these provinces and get all those things put together. And having to work with, I think one of my greatest joy is being able to work with new people on each and every city that I was going to shoot at, because I couldn't travel with the people, and we shot it during COVID. So also that was another challenge. But yeah, those are the things, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So I see that you mentioned that you actually shot this with a lot of different people from different countries, right? So I want to find out, how do you ensure that as a director, how do you ensure that your vision is, how do you ensure that your vision actually aligns with your team's vision? Because I mean, you work with a lot of creative people.
I think one of the most important things with the story. So I don't know how many people have been on set with maybe different people on production. So our first 2 days of production, the first director pulled out. So day three of the production, we had no director. So I was an assistant director, also as a producer. So I had to take over as the director at the time. And then um, day four of the production, then we got a new producer, a new director who was not in the same province, who's another province, who has to direct us using a computer to tell us, okay, I want the shot to be done in this way. Then as an assistant director on site, as a producer also on site, I needed to get that. One thing that we did was everything was scripted. So we knew exactly what we wanted. And our our guests, the targeted guests, already knew what we were looking for. So it was very easy for us to engage with them. And the director, the initial director, the initial story writer, she was actually able to get most of the information for us in order for us to achieve the project. Even after she was not able to continue the project, we were able to achieve the story as it was written from the initial plan. Even though there's maybe few changes because there's more directors and more DOPs that were involved in the actual project, the goal was to be able to tell the story as authentic as possible, but making sure that you create a unique experience with different teams that you're going to be working with in those different places.
Oh, I really love that. I really love that. And I'm sure we're going to see some magic on the Rustenburg Film Festival, right? So, Miss Charlene, I want to come
Of
to you,
course.
right? Miss Charlene, so I want to find out, what was the most challenging aspect of creating this film for you?
It was staying true to the stories, because when you're dealing with issues to do with HIV and AIDS, it's so personal. These are stories that usually people don't want to part with, because there is so much stigma that is attached to it, especially when it is with young people. So it's the type of thing where a 16-year-old is HIV positive and It's how did you get it? You must be promiscuous. So getting them to trust us with those stories and being able to translate those stories now into an art form and assuring the people that we had spoken to that we are not using this to ridicule you or make fun of your status or whatever it is that you went through during COVID, but this is actually something we are hoping will foster kindness in whoever watches it. So that was one of the biggest challenges, just being able to stay true to those stories.
Oh, that is awesome. That is great. I'm happy to hear about that. Right. So, and I think it is important to actually stay true to stories that you are trying to tell to the audience, because a lot of people can relate to that, Yes,
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. We wanted them to know that even when we come back next week or next month, they should be able to trust us.
Yes, I agree. So I'm gonna come to you, Mr. Zeinali. I hope I'm calling it right. Right. So I want to find out from you, since you said this is a short film, right? So I want to find out what was the most challenging part about making this film for you. Can you actually hear me?
Could you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Mm, First of all, before I answer this question, last question about which part of enjoy in filmmaking process I want to tell about that question. It's funny. But it's very personal to me. I enjoy looking for location. When in pre-production, I looking for location. I very enjoyed that part. I don't know why, but it's so funny for me. My challenging part in this short film look like many other filmmakers about money and budget. How you made budget to make a short film or feature film. It's very important and very challenging. I think most filmmakers have this issue, and they fight for money and budget. But after that, it was my producing time was in winter, and weather was very cool, and but snowy, and our team, me and my crew, really need a fog force, force full of fog, and I wasn't use VFX post-production for fog because I want to my film looks very natural, and this is my biggest challenge and biggest worry in production days, I think.
Yeah, I understand that. I want to find out though, like when you're facing challenges like that, does that ultimately affect your creativity when you're making a film?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
Yes, I was asking, like when you're making a film and you are faced with challenges like that, Like, how does that ultimately affect your creativity when you are making a film?
You know, as a director, you should decide very fast. You know, it's one of director's skills of how you are fast in problem. You know, in production days, you have many challenge with uh, all kinds of challenges, weather and time, light, you know. And I think what make different a director is how you decide in important moment in producing things.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Right, right. So I want to come to you, Mr. Obakeng, right? Can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes. So I want to come to you, right? So when you were creating this film, right? As a storyteller, I want to find out what is that lifelong constructive criticism that you received and that you actually applied when you were making this film.
Or when you say criticism, like, do you mean like,
Like with your
put it in a
previous
different
projects,
way?
maybe. I'm sorry?
Okay, can you explain in a different way so that I can
Yeah,
give a proper answer?
yeah, yeah. So basically, I'm asking, right? So you've made like a previous projects before, right? So I'm asking,
Oh,
like,
yes.
with the previous projects that you've made, like, were there people who gave you like constructive criticism, like telling you, okay, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, right? So did you apply it to this recent film that you are making that you're gonna be showcasing to the Rustenburg Film Festival?
Well, to be honest, I didn't apply much to the recent film because, like, by the end of the day, we all have our unique way of shooting, understand? Like, for example,
Yeah.
like we reference from other cinematographers to look up to and so on, and other film directors like Christopher Nolan, Michael Bay, and so on and so on. So sometimes people can say like, maybe you should have shot this film in this way or in this setting or something like that. But sometimes it cannot like match with what you call with your creativity and your idea you have with the film, like recent film and stuff like that. And sometimes if you're working with the director as well, the director can expect you to shoot like a movie in a certain way, you understand? So
Yes, yes.
I believe, yeah, I believe that there's always going to be criticism, you understand? So you have to take it in a positive way. But sometimes you have to take it as a learning journey as well, because maybe you can do a mistake, like maybe having problem like pulling your focus and so on. So sometimes you have to learn from that as well. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely understand you. I understand you. So
Yeah.
I want to come to you, Mr. Mokone, right? So I think you mentioned that the project that you are making, that you made, right? It was absolutely self-funded, right? So I want to find out, was that challenging for you guys to find these projects by yourselves?
Of course it was. Remember when you are a perfectionist, when you want to tell an authentic story without a budget, and you also don't want that story to be seen that it was a no budget story. You want it to one in simple terms. If you want to make $1 million without a budget, so it was a because we wanted everything to be to the that is costly, of course, and you are self-funded, you don't have budget, but we managed to do it, managed to go through that. It wasn't simple, but we managed to, because it pushed us to not slack, pushed us not to
do what they call a manga business, we have to stick to our proper initial plan to give $1 million properly shot story, everything to the T. Yes, we did not have a budget, so we had to devise means or a way of how to deal with those challenges.
Yes, no, I understand you. And I want to find out, right, do you think, like, in terms of the South African TV and film industry, would you say we are moving in the right direction in terms of storytelling?
I think allowing people to tell their stories, I think we are moving there. We slowly see in the light. With the introduction of so many shows, so many dramas, authentic African stories being told by people who daily affect those stories, I think we are slowly moving to the. I mean, such platforms are allowing us to already, like now, we are allowed to tell our stories, to tell our productions. I think that already, that on its own, is a step into the right direction.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think we're getting more stories that are more meaningful to the audiences than ever right now, right? Yes. So, Miss Charlene, I want to come to you. I want to come back to you, right? So, I want to ask, there. Okay, right. I want to ask. Sometimes we get like films that explore like the same things. There's the same themes that your film is exploring, right? So, I want to find out, what would you say your film is different than the other films that we've seen before?
Thanks for that question. And the reason I'm saying thanks for that question is because I have heard that comment before. The moment people hear HIV and AIDS, they think, oh no, I'm not going to watch it because I've heard it all. But until we end AIDS, I'm sorry, you haven't heard it all. Until there are no new infections, we haven't heard enough. So what makes See Me different is that we decided not to show, I don't know about in South Africa, but growing up in Zimbabwe, especially in the 90s, when there was a boom of films and campaigns and documentaries being pushed out that taught us about HIV and AIDS, there was a certain picture that we'd be given. There was a certain body type that would depict somebody living with HIV and AIDS. There were certain things that would then actually push the stigma narrative instead of teaching us that, you know what, I can look as healthy as can be and be HIV positive, because HIV is not a death sentence. It simply means I need to live in a more mindful way, in a way that I actually choose. So See Me is one of those films that you're going to watch and you're going to think, wait, she doesn't look sick, because those are some of the statements you'd hear from authorities during COVID. You get to a roadblock, you want to go and get your medication, and you're told you don't look sick. And it's not about looking sick. So what we endeavored to do with this film is to break away from those stereotypes of what a person living with HIV looks like and what the world thinks they should look like, and just help each other see that it literally could be the person you're sitting next to. So it's not about discriminating against, but it's about being kinder towards each other. So we used things that young people especially would like to see. So dance, music, spoken word, and powerful picture and cinematography, things that young people would resonate with and think, this is something I could get in line with. And then they hear the picture, they hear the sound, they see the picture, and they marry that to the themes.
Yes. I'm really glad you said that, because I think even though, like, we've seen a lot of films, like me, myself included, even though we've seen like a lot of films about HIV and AIDS, I think we still have people who are like, oh, but you don't look like you have HIV and AIDS. Like, there's still that stigma, and I think it's always going to be there. And I love that you are telling the story like in a different and meaningful way to you, right? Yes. Yeah, so I want to find out from you again, Miss Charlene, right?
Yes.
So, right. So knowing that you work with like a lot of creative people, like in this project, you work with a lot of creative people, right? So how did you ensure that your vision actually aligns with your team's vision?
So what happened is we realized that we each have a creative side that we need to let out. So because we're working with different pillars of creativity, the first step was my part, which was writing, adapting the research and into a screenplay. So that was writing the film. So the guys stepped back, they allowed me to write. We came together, we dissected the script, made sure that it aligned with the research, it aligned with the themes. And then the next thing was for us to then go out onto location and shoot. And when we were shooting now, at this point, I stepped into the director's role, which meant I needed to make sure that what I had written is going to be translated. So I'm communicating with my cinematographer at this point and making sure that the shots that he is going to take are going to translate what I wrote and the research that was collected into picture, into the right sound that we want our audiences to feel. So, and then the next step after that was going to film the dancers. And when you watch the film, you're going to see that there's a lot of different art forms. So we filmed the dances, and as we are doing this at this point, I've stepped back. The lead choreographer is there, and he's telling us, no, the theme for this particular part, for this particular routine, is stigma. So this dance needs to go this way. We move on from there. We had photography, and whilst all this is happening, we also had our musician composing original music for the film. So the key thing for each and every one of these elements to come together nicely was respecting each other's craft, knowing that when the cinematographer is there, when the DOP is there, he has the creative vision of the picture and what it should look like. So as the director, I'm stepping back and I'm directing my talent. I'm not directing my cinematographer. When we're doing the dance, it's the same thing. When the musician is in studio, it's the same thing. He is composing music that will speak to the themes, but there's nobody telling him exactly what to do because we each respected our space.
Oh, that is awesome. I actually love that. I love that. You know, because I know like when you're working with a lot of creatives, like a lot of ideas can sometimes clash, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know something, the biggest thing for us is that we are all Christian, and this film is titled See Me When God Remains the Only Hope. So before we did anything, we prayed on this. This was something we gave to God, and this is who we are. So we totally understood that it is not about how brilliant I am as an actress or as a director. This is this is his work. We are literally tools. That was the biggest thing for us.
That is such a beautiful thing, like to say and to do as like a team, you know. Like I love that. Yes. So I want to come to you, Mr. Obakeng, right? What is that most important aspect that you want your audience to take away from the project that you're gonna be showcasing at the Rustenburg Film Festival?
Sorry, my mic was muted because I'm avoiding. Okay. The most important aspect, let me talk about the audience, you understand? This must teach like the audience to love themselves, like how love the way they look and so on. Because I want this film to connect with the audience. Like, for example, like each and every us, like most of us, like we're insecure with how we look with our body and so on, you understand? Because sometimes maybe you can be like, okay, I have ugly toes, my nails are brown and stuff like that. Or maybe I don't have enough hair and so on and so on. So this must connect with the audience and teach the audience like to love themselves.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So I also want to
Thank
come
you.
to you. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something, right? I want to come
No.
to you, Mr. Nobela, right? So I also want to find out from you, what is that long-lasting impression or that long-lasting aspects that you want your audience to take away from this project that you're going to be showcasing at Rustenburg Film Festival?
Thank you for the opportunity again. I think the most important thing that I would like people to learn or to get from this film itself is to wear the shoes of the unknown. You know, we as Africans, we have not navigated the world enough. We don't know what's going on, and sometimes we see things from our own perspective because that's the only thing we know. So with these films, we want to teach people that even though you think you can be in a better space where you feel like you are safe, you are okay, there's still that one thing that can hunt you down, which is the invisible enemy, which is racism. And racism exists actually, even in South Africa, it still does exist, even though it's a hidden agenda on its own. And you go Europe, you go to Asia, you go to East, West, South Africa, you will find racism hidden there. And with this story, we want to just show people that, hey, look, it is really happening. Uh, you just have to be mindful of what's happening because in most cases, I would say we as South Africans, we are adopted the stigma of generalizing situations and having to fitting into a situation that is so uncomfortable just because we understand that we are in South Africa, anything is possible. So you'll find someone suffering, knowing very well they can be out of that challenge, but they'll say, no, it's fine. I'd rather be in this situation because then it's in South Africa anyway. What can you do? So, really, with this story, we want people to stand up on their own and do things on their own and stand up for themselves. It's always good to speak on on the things that you see as a challenge. You see some of the cast that we have, they are fighting for their own jobs. They want to go back to their workplace because some of them were serving for 30 years and they are dismissed by people who they trained when they joined the company, and these people become their supervisors and then they dismiss them. So really there's a lot that I think people will get from this film. It's very important that people come. We'll try to put as much information out to the public to tell them, guys, you have to come. This is a very important story. It really needs to connect with everyone who's going to be at the festival. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely agree with you. I really think racism actually affects us like in one way or another. So I think there is such an important story to tell, you know. Yes. So I wanna oh, I'm sorry. You
I'm
go on.
sorry, Chance. I just want to let everybody know that we shouldn't give away what you're gonna give people at the festival. This is gonna be supposed to be an hour. People must come to the festival, guys, to hear all of those things. So I don't know if Chance, you still have maybe one last thing to ask so that we can so I can close it very quickly. So we don't give everything. Because I don't know what you say with other languages, but the point of it all is that people must come to the festival and actually hear all of those things, hear all of those challenges, hear all of those achievements at the festival. So here we are holding teasers, guys. Let's hold teasers.
Yeah.
So Chance, I don't know if you have one last thing to say too, and then so I can wrap it up quickly.
Yeah. No, actually, I just wanted everyone to just throw in like a bit of teasers, just for people to come through about their films, and yeah, we wrap it up because I no longer have more questions.
Okay. Okay, they must, when they throw the teasers, they must also tell us.
Yes.
All of you, when it's your turn, I'm gonna just call your name. So you're gonna throw a teaser or what people must come watch for. Also, you must tell us what to expect when you're on the red carpet on the opening day, and then what to expect, what you'll be wearing on the awards night. Because this girl. So let's do that. Let's just Let's just quickly start with Obakeng. Throw a quick teaser. Tell us what you're going to be wearing as well on the opening night, because it's red carpet, and also on the awards night.
Nah, I'm gonna be like on a formal, you understand? Like I wanna look more like a gentleman, as if like today's my wedding day, but not too much of a like I'm getting married and so. But I wanna look good, like that outfit, James Bond, like something like that. On that
Ooh,
suit,
tuxedo.
like that's how I wanna look stunning, yeah, look
Awesome.
presentable,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. So the people must make sure they come see you dressed like that at the festival. Awesome. Sifiso, throw us. Quick. Sifiso?
My mic was muted. Sorry, guys. So I'm not of a, I would say I like to wear formal, but I want to try something new. So at the opening night, I'll definitely wear an African attire, which is going to symbolize the African in me. And then the closing night, awards night, I always try not to wear so much of formal, but I think I'll do this for this film because really it's an important story. So what people they should expect for coming to this one, I think they should expect to be blown away and want more. And as a producer myself, I am 100% sure that there's something that I'm cooking that they will be seeing soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sifiso. Arshia, I hope you are coming. What should the people, what do you think the people should expect? What would your viewers, your fans expect? If you come into the festival, what are we expecting to see you looking like? Briefly. 60 seconds. Everybody, you got 60 seconds.
I think doesn't matter. I could be with you this year or not, but I have I have to say, please, when you watch my short film, pay attention to symbols in layers of this film. Just that.
Okay.
I love to be with you guys. I love to, but in our country, it's very complicated situation this year. As you know, I think in news. I just can tell good luck. I hope next year I made another film and come back, be with you next year. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zeinali. The lady of the house, the Rosemonds, the Thorns. My favorite person. Miss Charlene, please, yes, quick, 60 seconds less.
So quick, from
what are you telling your people? What are we, how, yes, please.
Expect to see internationally acclaimed musicians, actors, dancers, and get to see Zimbabwe in a whole new light. Crazy, amazing talent that we cannot wait to share with the world. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. And then what will I be wearing? Well, you will just have to wait and see. Just know that Zimbabwe will be well represented.
Oppression and Gaga. Okay, guys, our time is up. It was lovely speaking to you, Chance. Thank you for giving me this opportunity tonight, my darling. Everybody, please, I know it's very late in Iran. You need to be sleeping by now. Some of us are still working. We are here together, still connecting, developing, and promoting with the Rustenburg Film Festival. And with all of that, Chance, please say goodnight so we can go.
Thank you so much, guys, for giving me an ear. And let's go to the Rustenburg Film Festival.
Good
Nice
night.
to meet you guys.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
guys. See you on the 25th, possibly maybe 24th,
you.
depending on how things goes. But I'm definitely gonna be there. See you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. Great stuff.
Bye.
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 Bye.